on the Fan Cred app here on a Friday afternoon, taking some questions for callers who want to talk about Survivor. Always excited when I get the chance to do this type of thing, and here we're able to do it with the help of our friend Sister Nina live here. That's me. Excited to get the chance to do this with the help of our friends over on the Fan Cred app, which if you're watching us on YouTube right now, you can get the Fan Cred app and call in. We're going to take your questions. You'll be asking me questions face to face, and I'm excited to see what kind of stuff comes up. Of course, I get to do this stuff all the time regularly with the patrons of Rob as a Podcast. In fact, they're going to do it later on this afternoon. We have our Facebook Friday call-in show, but it's always a treat when I get to talk to people who are going to be basically, in some cases, some familiar faces, but hopefully we get some complete strangers along the way. So excited to see what kind of stuff you guys want to talk about. We had a lot of fun on the podcast proper last night. Bradley Kleige, I'm going to get it right. He was here in the studio, had a nice chat with Bradley. Such a warm response to Bradley being on the podcast last night. I think he's been taken aback that he's used to people really disliking him. So Bradley was very happy with the results so far, and that's up on robhasawebsite.com. If you want to call into the show, if you're watching on the app, all you have to do is hit the fan line button. I believe it's in the top, say right on the app. You hit the fan line button to fire it up. I'm going to take your questions here today as we are streaming live. I also have the chat open on our YouTube channel. I see everybody chatting away. We can take some questions from the chat as well. So hello to everybody in the chat. I see Frafa and Aaron Richards and Gannon as well. You know what's really weird is on YouTube that the it's like live closed captioning what I'm saying, which is wild. I've never seen that feature before. So look, hey, you podcast all the way to 2019 and look how far things have come. Okay. All right. So Cam is going to be, he's our producer here today. He is going to be the person you're going to check in with when you go ahead and dial in on the fan line. Don't be shy. Probably going to do this for about 30, 40 minutes today. So if you are on the fence and you want to go ahead and jump in, just hit that fan line button and we'll go ahead and get you through. And in the meantime, I could take some questions from the chat. By the way, I'm wearing my brand new RHAP Mets-inspired shirt that just came today from Brian Malloy, our designer. And we've been long trying to come up with a Mets-inspired idea. And unfortunately, the Mets are not playing baseball anymore at this time. But we did fire a manager, so I can celebrate that with the Mets shirt, RHAP shirt. Very excited. We got all of our merch is up at our brand new store at robhasawebsite.com/merch. Tanner has a question. No way in heck you actually think Rob and her are on the island surviving too. They are in production, eating and sleeping in hotels. That is fake news. They are out there. I mean, look, if they are, then the whole show is fake, because there was a video that go on the CBS Survivor Twitter, and you could see Rob and Sandra waking up, and they are like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm sleeping on bamboo. I'm in so much pain. All we can do is laugh. And either Rob and Sandra are incredible actors, and they should get a Daytime Emmy Award like Caitlin, or the whole show is fake. Look, I've been out there. The show is real. These people, you could not keep everybody on the same page if it was fake. And I mean, Rob and Sandra are living out there. I'd like it if they were in hotels, because then I'd say, okay, well then there's 0% chance they're coming into the game. But that's a terrible take, Tanner. I'm sorry. Thank you for watching, but that is the coldest take of all time. Aaron says, do you think that Jack will want to work with Tommy after he voted Molly? Well, what's his alternative going to be? If you're Jack, then, I mean, what are you going to do? No, you voted out Molly. I can't come back from that. I'm going to go down with the ship. Okay. All right, Noah in Cincinnati is on the fan line. Let's go ahead and take Noah, and then you guys can see. No need to be shy. Just come on in, and we'll have a chat. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. All right, Noah is in Cincinnati, and he's in the car. You're not driving, are you, Noah?
No, I'm parked, Rob.
Okay, parked. Okay, good. Noah, what's happening, man?
Just was out getting food. I'm on my way home, and then saw that you're live. So,
What'd you get?
I went to go get a little bit of pizza.
Pizza. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Better than Survivor Pizza.
Yeah, no, it was Jets Pizza, so kind of New York, as close as you can get to it. But
yeah,
I had a question about your thoughts on the lies that were being told on the way back from the Island of the Idols, because they came back with the same story that was a la the Ghost Island. You smash an urn, and there's no game for you. Do you think that they were like told as a suggestion by Robert Sanders to say that? Because there's no indication that they're not allowed to tell the truth, but it's very confusing.
So I really think that they are told they're not allowed to say the island. And I don't know if it's by production, or I don't know if it's like Rob and Sandra are telling them, hey, don't say anything about this. This will be really bad for you if you say something. So I don't know, but somebody had to have told them, because it seems crazy that two people in a row would come back and make up a lie really for no reason. And yeah, I guess it's believable. I mean, in Survivor South Africa this past season, they had their theme was Survivor Island of Secrets, and Island of Secrets was like basically Ghost Island. So yeah, I think it's pretty believable in terms of, that's what it is. But everybody's gonna come back with the same story. Like, so there were like three things, and then I had to pick one.
They've done that every season.
Yeah,
it's believable in terms of what they would do, but I don't expect that to be another twist that they would do. I feel like they're pretty suspicious. I don't know if I would buy it if I was there, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe they should make up something new. Maybe it's like I went there, and so there was a piñata, and so I was told I got to hit the piñata 5 different times, and then if I got it, then an idol would come out. But I hit the piñata, and I was so dizzy, and I kept missing, and then I didn't get it. So that's why I unfortunately did not get the idol. But it was so fun.
I forget who won this week.
It was Kelly.
She said something about like seeing these really tall figures.
She saw 2 giant heads.
Yeah. Did she I wonder if she explained it afterwards. But that's kind of weird thing to randomly say and then move on. Oh, I just didn't get anything from it. There's just heads there.
Yeah, I mean, the immunity idol kind of has 2 heads, and maybe it's some sort of I guess that's just the theme of 2 heads on things. But yeah, it is weird to say it was descriptively like a man and a woman, and that was her story.
I think maybe what she could try to do is say that maybe if someone says that Rob and Sandra are there, she'll say, "Oh, I didn't get to see Rob and Sandra when I went, but I saw their heads there, and I don't even know who those people are." But that makes sense.
Yeah,
because I feel like as soon as someone does tell the truth or it gets revealed, people are gonna think very thoughts of everyone who won the first couple times.
Right. I think that when we're going to see it, when we have 2 people on the same tribe come back and that they've both been there, like, hey, did you talk to Rob and Sandra? Did you do a test? And did you have to guess Sandra's dog's name? And I think that's when we're going to see this sort of stuff start to come out. All right, Noah, thank you so much for the call. Enjoy the pizza.
Thank you, Rob.
What topping? Do you get a topping?
Oh, just cheese.
Just cheese. Okay. All right. A little boring. All right. Thank you, Noah. I appreciate the call. Enjoy your lunch. Diana in the comments says, why would the editors make the audience fall in love with Elaine last week and then barely give her any screen time this week? As Adam in Ottawa is going to join us on the fan line. Look, what do you want them to do? Elaine had a lot going on in the first episode, and then her tribe didn't go to tribal council this week. So I don't think that they were depriving you of the screen time. It's, they got a lot of people to get to every single week. All right. Adam is in Ottawa. Adam, hello.
Hey, Rob, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Nice to talk to you, Adam. How's it going?
I'm great. I'm moderator for your YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
Adam, thank you. So what's been going on in the YouTube? People typing in all caps.
Yeah, a lot of that. It was crazy for Big Brother. It got a little
I
bit
know,
heated.
Big Brother. Like I like the Survivor season. Like Survivor for me is a little more fun. The Big Brother people we get worked up on Big Brother. We live and die with every day on Big Brother. Survivor was a little bit more of like a
It's much more chill.
Yes. Okay. Well,
So,
Adam, thank you for fighting the good fight against the trolls and the mean people on YouTube.
we're a good team, I think.
Yes, thank you. So what's going on?
So my question is sort of Big Brother Survivor related. And I'm not the fan fiction guy, but is there not too much chance of production interference with these pulling of these scrolls to figure out who the next person is, and who knows what's on that name? And could it not be, they pull a scroll and it says Tommy, but they decide no, we're going to put Tom in there.
Yeah,
I'm not good.
Look, it's possible. I don't know why they don't show us that. I can't say definitively that I could say I don't think that they would do that, but you can't say definitively unless they would just show us. Now, is it now if the person who got picked gets voted off that they can like have like a backup that it doesn't like screw things up? But either way, I don't know why they just don't show us, Rob and Sandra looking at the name. Okay, I get it. You don't want to tell the survivor, but when she walks away, then like open the scroll and let us know. And then we can have something like that we look forward to next week of like, oh, okay, well, we know that, oh, okay. So we're going to have Missy's going to the Island of the Idols next week. So that's looking good for her stock moving forward. So yeah, they can show us. So who cares?
Like if it was Big Brother people, people from the Big Brother audience would be going nuts about this, saying there's so much, production interference. I haven't heard it at all for the Survivor fans.
Right. I know. The Survivor fans, I think that in general are less conspiratorial than the Big Brother fans. I think that by nature, I think that Big Brother really lends itself to conspiracy. But yeah, it's a good point. They should just tell us if or better yet, let the other tribe vote. Let the other tribe decide who gets to go. Put some strategy in there. Who cares? And I speak as a guy who spins a wheel of random podcast ideas.
My favorite podcast you do, actually, Rob.
Oh, you are enjoying the RHAP?
I've been a huge fan since the early Seinfeld ones.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, thank you. Did you even like This Week in Rob and Akiva?
It was okay.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah. I love the Royal Rumble. I love I didn't mind the music one. I like the video ones that you do. I think they're hilarious.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy the John Travolta movie, The Fanatic, that we reviewed yesterday. That'll go up tonight. Well, what else is going
on? Just working, getting ready for the rest of my afternoon. I just want to say, Rob, it's a pleasure talking to you. You do such amazing work.
Thank you, Adam.
Your podcasters, Taryn, Brent, Mary, whoever, Puya, Liana, they're all great. Mike.
Yeah.
So much great work.
Thank you so much. A lot of Survivor fans or more Big Brother fans in Ottawa?
I'm actually in Regina now. I'm from Ottawa originally, but I'm in Regina, Saskatchewan. But people don't know how to say that.
Yeah. Well, that our own Scott St. Pierre hails from Saskatchewan. Yeah. So we have RHAP roots are strong. Do you watch Corner Gas?
No, no.
Okay.
TFL, but not Corner Gas.
All right. So, all right. Thank you so much, Adam. Okay. I'll see you in the YouTube chat. Okay. All right. So we have all right. So the fan line is open. Go ahead and jump in if you want to chat. Let's see. Jenny says that this is so cool. Murphy says 0 confessionals for Elaine after 7 last week. Look, it goes up. It goes up and down. She was on the block last week. She won the challenge. I mean, she was in the episode. We saw her a couple different times talking. All right. David in New York is on the fan line. Let's go ahead and play. I mean, the first episode, we saw a lot of what was going on over at Lero, and then not as much about Vokai. This was a much more of a Vokai heavy episode. David, how are you?
I'm doing well, Rob. How are you doing?
Doing good. David, were you at a restaurant?
I'm at Starbucks, actually. I was
Starbucks. Okay, what's going on over at Starbucks?
Not much. I saw you went live, so I wanted to hop in there.
Can we see the Starbucks? Can we see what's going on over there?
Absolutely.
Okay. Wow, this is so cool. I get to go see what's happening in the world. I don't have to leave my house.
You're in
Okay.
Brooklyn right now.
Yeah. Okay, David, if you could just talk a little bit closer to the phone because it's we hear a little bit background noise and not you as loud. Okay. So David, what's happening?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. How much credit do we give Jason, and I mean, obviously, less so Nora, for getting the vote to go in the
Actually, David, if you could, I think that we're picking up the microphone on the phone. If you could just talk a little closer to the, bring the phone a little bit closer.
Okay.
And
is that any better?
better
Okay, all right.
by a lot.
Okay, so my question was in terms of Jason. How much credit are we giving Jason for the vote going towards Molly? How much blame do we give to Molly and Jamal? And how much was it just, Lauren being like, I want to switch things up right now?
Yeah. So I would say in the case of Jason, I would say that the credit belongs more to him for being able to lower the threat level down, where I think that everybody was like, he was an easy boot. And then I think he spent the next 5 days making people feel more comfortable. Like, hey, this guy's okay. Where, he got off on the wrong foot. In terms of Molly, Jamal, and Jack, it's really hard to say because I know that it looked like Molly was sort of like the ringleader, but I don't know if it was just that she appeared to be the ringleader, if necessarily she was. And I feel like that for Lauren and whoever else you want to assign the, agency of that they pulled off this move, I feel like that they wanted to get something going, had an itch to make a big move. And Molly seemed like a good soft target to take out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually thought her exit interview with you was super interesting. Because I don't know if that was a retcon so much, but she was like, I don't know if we were a tight three. That's how the edit portrayed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that super interesting.
Yeah, I'd actually like to go back to the first episode and see a little bit more about we saw Jack bonding with Tommy in the first episode, and I don't remember who Jamal was really bonding with, but yeah, it did seem like this was more of a new invention in this episode, that there was a this big three that was running things.
Yeah.
Okay. David, anything else going on?
Not much. I just want to say I'm a huge fan. I listen to all your podcasts. I look forward to listening to you guys describe the Fanatic in detail. And
yes. Did you watch that movie?
I have not, but your description of it is going to be way better than anything else, so.
We'll save you some time.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's actually very short. But David, thank you so much for the call. Okay. Enjoy the coffee. Okay. All right, there you go. There's David in Brooklyn. Okay. Jordan in the comments says that all the credit goes to the dancing. All right. Henry in Ontario is on the fan line, ready to jump in. We have a lot of Canadian callers already today. Let's talk. Well, let's go ahead and talk to Henry, and shout out to everybody who's chatting along in the YouTube chat. Tanner, who I said had cult takes before. Big Brother questions outside were amazing. Thank you. Yes, Henry. You have the Boston
Rob. I'm such a huge fan.
Hey, nice Boston Rob rule book.
Hi, I'm such a big fan of yours. I'm so happy to talk to you.
Okay, I'm very excited to talk to you. What's going on, Henry?
In college right now. I'm calling you from my bedroom. YouTube gave me a notification that you're doing a fan call. So yes. I literally just downloaded the fan cred app a few minutes ago.
Cool. And now you're here, and you're holding up the Boston Rob rule book. You look like that we have here in the United States, the Statue of Liberty, and that's like the same sort of idea. I think she's holding the Boston Rob rule book.
Yeah, I've had this. I actually asked for this for my 18th birthday last year.
Here, hold on a second. I too have a copy of the Boston Rob rule book. Is mine signed? Let me see. Did Rob sign mine? No, not yet.
He didn't sign mine either.
Yeah. Have you read the Boston Rob rule book?
Yes, many times.
Yes. Okay. I wonder if we should incorporate this into the podcast, a reading from the book of Boston Rob. There's some really funny stuff that's in here. This is a reading of the book of Boston Rob, page 58, bullet point 3. All types of pasta should collectively be referred to as macaroni. Nick Macaroni? Never pasta. If someone asks you what kind of macaroni you want, then and only then should you get specific and say linguine, ziti, cavatelli, etc.
Yep.
There is not a lot of Survivor playing advice here in the Boston Rob rulebook, but it's a fun, quick read if you want to check that out.
Yeah, it's
Boston
great.
Boston Rob rulebook. Okay, all right, Henry, what did you want to talk about?
Okay, last episode, Jack and Jamal were on the outs of the boat. If they have to go to the next tribal council, what should they do to save themselves?
Other than throw each other under the bus. So I wonder what they could do in terms of like trying to, re-ingratiate themselves to the group. I mean, I think that the right move is always to go back to the middle if you can. I think you say like, you know what? Good, you got us. You know what? You were right. Molly, she was putting these ideas in our head. Like, make Molly the scapegoat. And I think that the more that they can try to either, because I don't think that it's like that they could go back to Nora and Jason who are on the bottom, but I think that maybe they could go back to that middle group and go back to the Tommies and Jen and maybe Lauren and Kelly and talk to them about how like, boy, Nora is really hurting us in the challenges, or I really think that Jason is so shady. And I think that you could try to go back to the original plan, as long as like the bridges aren't necessarily burnt, and really try to make it like, it was all Molly. Molly was the big problem. Now that she's out of here, we really have changed the way we look at everything.
Yeah, I think because they are strong competitors. If they lose again, they may really start to look at challenge strength, which will keep Jack and Jamal around for at least one more vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other tribe voted out Ronnie first. I was surprised how much the Vokai group was struggling in the challenge this week.
Yeah, with that whole ladder situation, and they kept falling down. I thought maybe I think it was Molly at the top of the ladder. I thought maybe she could have jumped off the ladder and grabbed the bar at the top.
But yeah, then what would she do? Like hold on with one arm and then untie the bag?
Yeah, I'm not sure if
impressive.
That would be strong enough to hold her.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they really struggled with the ladder. I was surprised. I thought that once Lero ended up losing their bag, I thought that was going to be an issue. I thought that it was just going to be lost at sea.
Yeah, I was afraid that was going to be a huge blunder for them.
Mm-hmm. No, but they were okay. So do you think that Jack and Jamal can survive this?
I think so. I think, if anything, this is a huge wake-up call for them, because we saw Jamal napping during the day, like hours before tribal council.
Yeah.
Which you never do. Devins would take a 4-hour nap on the edge of extinction, which you can do. You do that in the game of Survivor, it can be $1 million nap.
Yeah, and Jamal had a great tweet where a lot of the players before the season were using the hashtag "Don't Sleep on 39," and then Jamal had tweeted that before the season started, and then retweeted that and basically said, "This didn't age well. Don't sleep on 39."
Yeah, clearly didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Henry, anything else going on?
Oh man, I didn't know I'd be talking to you so soon. I thought maybe I could be the first Canadian to win Survivor, and then I could do a post-game interview with you. But
okay, well, no Canadians have won it yet. You could still be the first Canadian to win Survivor.
Yeah, unless Tom wins.
Are you rooting against Tom now?
He kind of has to, and he's my winner pick in a fantasy pool I'm in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you maybe could be the youngest Canadian to ever win Survivor.
Yeah. What is the age for the youngest winner? Because I'm 19.
I want to say that I know a couple of 20. Jenna Maraska, I think, had that title. I'm not sure if anybody got in early. I'm not sure if Sophie was younger, but I know Jenna was at that time. I'm not sure if anybody younger. Fabio, let me see. I'm sure maybe the chat might end up knowing. Okay, you still got some time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, geez, I wish I knew I was coming out soon. I would have prepared more questions for you.
That's okay.
Could you say hi to my friend Joel?
Okay, where is he? Joe or Joel?
Joel. He's not watching, but
okay.
I would love for you to give him a shout out. Just
okay, but is he in the room, or he's you're gonna play this for him later?
I'm gonna play this for him later.
And does Joel watch Survivor?
Yes, he is very much obsessed, just like I am.
Okay. Well, I can't tell him that I'm Boston Rob.
You can try. I doubt he'll buy it.
Okay. Hey, Joel, this is Boston Rob. Make sure you go on over to Amazon.com and pick up the Boston Rob rulebook. Don't just be trying to grub off Henry. He needs to read his book every night if he's going to be the youngest Canadian Survivor winner ever.
That's right.
That's right. So just play the audio for him and see if you can get him.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll actually be a good test. That'll test if he's a true super fan.
Yeah, then how about here's another. Joel, this is Jonathan Penner, and I just want to say, hope you're doing well in school. Make sure you study every night in Ottawa, and don't be trying to copy off of Henry's test. All these college kids I know are out there trying to get faded. Stay in school, study, stay on top of your academics. Okay. All right. If you want to call in, hit the fan line button to join us here as we are talking with you, the Survivor fans, about everything that's going on in the world of Survivor. We are going to be getting ready. My next Survivor podcast, I'm going to talk to Shannon Gates on our Survivor feedback show, which is going to be coming up this weekend on RHAP. If you have Survivor feedback questions, if you're listening to this maybe after the fact, you can get your Survivor feedback questions into robisawebsite.com/voicemail or 323-282-RHAP. We'll get to that later on this weekend. Okay. The chat is reacting to some Penner talk, and I'm watching as my Penner is being with the captions on. This is blowing my mind as I'm talking, and then I'm seeing the words written out. I don't know if if the transcription is going according to what I'm saying, but there you go. All right. Let's take some more callers as well, and we have another question that's from the chat. Let me see. This is a long one. I can't read the bottom of it. Let me scroll up here a little bit. Okay. Diane wants to know, why was Nora bragging about not sleeping at night like that's a good thing? Maybe her tribe would have won immunity if she was better rested. She also had the tribe burning too many calories with the exercise. Boy, yeah, I don't know if we could really get inside Nora's head here in terms of, what Nora was thinking. If you're in a tribe that likes to sleep, guess what you like to do? Sleep also. You're not. Don't be the person who's trying to wake everybody up. If you're on a tribe where everybody wakes up early, guess what you like to do also? You don't want to be the one person who's sleeping. So Nora, I think, has not shown a great ability to be able to read the room so far. I get it. Nora has a lot of energy. Nora likes to wake up early. Nora likes to do exercise, but everybody doesn't have to do what Nora has to do. And in fact, it should be the opposite. Nora should try to be more like what everybody else is doing in the tribe. So yeah, I get it. She's a self-starter and an independent person, but on Survivor, it's all about, fitting in and not being sort of like the tall blade of grass who's doing something different than what everybody else is doing. Okay. 50 arm raises. I'm going to try the Nora workout. I'm going to see if I can get some exercise in today. Ryan is asking, is the real winner of the Island of the Idols all of us fans? Because we're guaranteed a Boston Rob impression at least once per podcast. Look, I hope that it lasts the whole season and people don't say, enough. Oh, you're beating it into the ground. But it's been a long time. It's been 17 seasons since I've been able to talk about Boston Rob on a podcast. So hopefully we were able to do it all season long and not have to burn it out too much. Hey, that's the fire making challenge. How fast can you burn out an impression? So if you want to get in jump on the fan line, hit that on app, the button on the app, the fan line at fancred.com. Jordan wants to know, what do you think that the swap looks like this season? 3 tribes, 2 tribes, and no swap. I hope that we end up going to 2 tribes. I'm out on 3 tribes. Look, I was on the other, unless you count the Outcasts, I was on the first time they ever did 3 tribes, and I didn't like it. Maybe Boston Rob and Amber liked it, but I didn't. I don't think there's enough maneuverability. And that I think that going to 3 tribes, Survivor then went away from 3 tribes, really they had it in All-Stars, and then I don't think that they had 3 tribes again until Philippines. Like, then they went away from 3 tribes forever. They had 4 tribes a couple times, but they never went back to 3 tribes again until Philippines. And then I think that injected a lot of life into the show around season 25, where they didn't do it in 26, but they had 3 tribes really towards the Cagayan. I think 3 tribes was, a big boost to that. Then it went so well, they did it again. They've done, heroes versus healers versus hustlers. And so they've had a lot of different ones. They've swapped to 3 tribes almost every season in the 30s. And it's fine. But I think it's been done. I think it's done. And I think that 2 tribes is like a lot more maneuverability and flexibility. And really the Australian seasons of Survivor, and I know they've started in 3 tribes in the first season of Australian Survivor, but that they end up with 2 tribes. And I think that's better. You can't tell 3 stories in 42 minutes. I think there's too much that gets lost in the shuffle, in literally and figuratively, with going to 3 tribes. So I hope they stick with 2. And I think that especially with the Island of the Idols segment being a long piece of the show every week, keep it at 2. We don't have time to see 3 tribes and go to the Island of the Idols and have a challenge and have a tribal council and do anything else. It's not enough time in the episode. Tara says, I thought that the way that Dan comforted Kelly was super cringy, considering their talk about touching in personal space. Do you think that he's eased up on the touching? I mean, nobody commented on it this week. Doesn't mean that nobody was bothered this week. It doesn't mean that anybody was bothered this week. It just wasn't a plot point on the show. That's with stuff like this, it's very hard for me as a person who, wasn't there to be able to weigh in on, how comfortable was Kelly and sort of like trying to read her body language. So let's hope for all of our sakes that everything was okay and no issues there. Danny says, are tribes making a mistake voting out physically strong people early in the game? I don't know. The game is so fluid between all the swaps. It's hard to say that, you're really making a mistake by voting. Oh, we need this person's strength for the challenges. This was something that came up when we started going back and looking at David Wright's game. When I talked to the aforementioned Shannon Gates in the preseason, where we looked at David Wright's, and David Wright's philosophy on the game is, who do I trust? And who do I not trust? And I'm going to always vote out the person that I trust the least. And then I'm always going to do whatever it takes to keep the people that I do trust. And I think that that's a good way to look at the game, especially when things are so fluid, maybe 2 swaps before the merge, where in the old days of Survivor, back in my day, you'd be with this group for, 6, 7 potentially rounds of voting. And so I need to keep the tribe strong, because I need to make sure that my group doesn't go to 4 or 5 tribal councils beforehand, because, I could get picked off sooner than later if the best way for me to stay safe is to win immunity challenges. But if there are people that are in the game that you don't trust, you're not vibing with, then you have plenty of reason to go to a tribal council, so you can get rid of people that are working against you. And you want to, at all costs, play idols, do whatever it takes to keep the people around that are working with you, that you do have a good sense of trust with. So I want to hear some more calls from you guys on the fan line. Go ahead and click that button on the app, and we'll go ahead and get our next caller on with us E wants to know, how do you guys feel? Who are the guys? Is that just the chat, or is this like the royal we? Okay. And we have Aaron in is it Louisiana or LA is on the fan line. Let's get Aaron on with us. How do you guys feel about the tribe culture thing, lingo? I'm afraid this will stick all season long. Well, look, in Survivor, you are building your own society, and you that we've seen great examples of tribe culture throughout the years. All right, here's Aaron. Aaron, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Rob?
Very good. Aaron, where are you calling from, Aaron?
I'm calling from LA. I know it says
okay.
Yeah,
it's in LA. Okay, Aaron, I didn't even know you were out here.
Yeah, I just moved out here.
Okay, what are you doing? Anything good?
I'm trying to make it as a music video director, so I thought this might be the place to be.
Okay, cool. All right. Aaron, how's it going?
It's going good. I do have a question for you, though, about the thing you said about the 3 tribes to 2 tribes. You prefer 2 tribes? I actually thought it was funny that you were speaking to Bradley about it, because I think 3 tribes is a good thing, because then it gets like, we saw in South Pacific, and in you saw in South Pacific how the tribes stick together and there's less dynamics to move around and, make new alliances out of the group. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes it gets a little stale and the bigger tribes eat the smaller tribes.
Yeah, that's fair. So I think that maybe the best way to do it,
it's tricky. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
it's hard, but I just feel like as a viewer, as somebody who's watching the show, and I pay super close attention to this stuff. And sometimes even I have a hard time when we go to 3 tribes. Wait, who's on which tribe? What's going on here? So if you're a casual viewer, I think that it's, and I don't mean to disparage the casual viewers, but sometimes you have your phone open. It's hard to follow what's going on. And I think that the job of the producers of the show should be to tell the story of the season. And I think that the harder they make it, the more confusing they make it for the viewer. I think that the less invested the viewer ends up being in the show.
I hear what you're saying. But I think it's situational with each season. I think a good example of what you're saying would be with the Edge of Extinction. We hardly saw any of the Edge of Extinction, and the 3 tribes, when they switched to 3 tribes, it got very complicated for multiple reasons. But David versus Goliath, that was an excellent tribe swap, in my opinion.
Yeah. And we didn't have the Edge of Extinction stuff. So yeah, that was exciting that they did have 3 different times the person who was in the majority ended up going home in the 3 votes that they had. But I mean, I think that of those votes, I'm not sure how many things were super memorable. I mean, we had the one really great tribal council with Michaela getting voted out, which was an all-timer. But I think, and just to go back to South Pacific, there was also no tribe swap in that season. That's
what I'm saying. That's why it was stale.
So, but I think you can swap between the 2 tribes also. You don't have to necessarily have 2 tribes and keep them together the whole time. I just think that to go to 3, I think really ends up, especially when you have so many players that are in the mix, that I think that it's almost better, I think, to have maybe a less fair playing field in terms of not giving people the opportunities to switch things up if you are able to tell a cleaner story to the viewer.
I totally hear you about the story thing, but talking about dynamics of the tribe and what's fair and what's not. In Karamoan, they did do a swap to 2 to 2, and the favorites.
Well, that's fans versus favorites. It's a little bit different. Where
right, I mean, they weren't actually really
season.
Fans; they knew nothing. But
yeah,
but I think Ghost Island is a great example. In my opinion, that is not a great season. Excellent cast, not a great season, because even though they did swap twice, and they swapped really soon, which is weird that the tribes still stuck together in that, it swapped from 2 to 2.
Yes.
And I think, and social politics comes into play, obviously, of why it went the way it did.
Yeah, Ghost Island
was
didn't. I thought it was fine when they swapped from 2 to 2. Like it was weird that they did 2. It was 2 vote outs in the first episode, and then maybe one of the most exciting episodes of the season was the Morgan Ricky vote out, and that was after a swap, and that was fine. And then there was even a really exciting tribal council that was after a swap where Michael Yerger was he told people that his idol was going to protect 2 people, and that was an exciting tribal council. It didn't start to lag, I feel like, until they went to the 3 tribes in Ghost Island.
I hear that. A question about something with Michael Yerger. I actually thought, not a question, just like a thought. I thought it was really funny in the merge when they had that twist when they split the tribes up. And I felt like they did that. This is my own theory. I felt like they may have done that. Maybe they planned it, maybe they didn't, to keep Michael Yerger safe. And how then they swapped, maybe drawed, whatever. It put Michael Yerger in a worse position in the tribe swap. Maybe that's just my thought.
Yeah.
But what do you think about having a tribe swap, like just to 3 right before the merge, like two tribes before the merge?
I mean, if you want,
like at 15.
Yeah, like you want to do like 1 episode, 1 round of voting where we go to 3 tribes.
Yeah, maybe even 2, because now they're doing like 13, a merge of 13. Why don't they just do merge at 15 and then just 2 tribes? So now we don't have such a complicated dynamic. We know the cast well enough that we're not 2-3 episodes in and there's already a swap so soon.
Yeah.
And they're apart enough that things can shake up, but not apart so much that it gets confusing and we're trying to like wire the relationships. And then we're right to the merge and then things could like form itself.
Yeah, if you want to do anything for 1 round of voting before the merge, I mean, I think that Survivor All Stars is a good example of that, where you had, they were in 3 tribes and they went to 2 tribes, and then like right before the merge, they had 1 last tribe swap, and that was like a really famous episode where Amber could have been voted out, but then they didn't end up doing it. So yeah, I think also in the Second Chance season, I think they had one round of voting where they went back from 3 tribes to 2 tribes for 1 vote before they had the merge. So I'm up for whatever you want to do. One episode before the merge. Like let's see what could happen.
Yeah. Do you think that in a 3 tribe swap thing, it gives like great players, good example in Korong, like Anna,
one of the greatest,
someone to get screwed by the swaps? It gives a greater chance for a bigger player or a better player.
Right. You have a lot more variance when you end up going to the 3 tribes. So I don't know if necessarily if that's what you want. Like, I guess like in a vacuum, it sort of like makes things a little more open and anybody could go home. But if you are going to lose potentially good players by a swap and also make it more confusing for your viewers, I'm not really sure the reason why you want to do it. I guess it's like in the idea is to keep it more fair by shaking things up to sort of make it where you can't just rest on the existing relationships that you have. But at what cost? Like, what are you really getting from doing all these tribe swaps?
I think it's the opposite. I think the tribe swaps is to make it less fair for the players, but more entertaining for the audience.
It's more unpredictable.
So don't stay they were. Unpredictable.
Yeah, unpredictable. But I'm not sure necessarily that so much unpredictability is a good thing. I'm really like coming around as the show goes on more and more. That I think that Survivor is about stories. And I think that the more complicated the story is that you're trying to tell, the more confusing it is for the audience. So I think that maybe a straightforward but slightly less crazy story is maybe something that is going to be able to, attract and hold more viewers, where they come away from the end of the season like, okay, I know the story of the season, where even me as a podcaster, like tell the story of, some of these more recent seasons. And it's like, it would be a very hard story to tell you. Sit down. It's going to take a minute.
let me ask you this. I forgot actually the specific question, but I had another whatever. Do you like the idea? Yeah. When you say it's about story, do you think it's like, are you more of a fan of the way they split up the tribes in, like, say, like themes, David versus Goliath, and etc., or these island themes, which do take away from the story? I mean, you just answered it before, but I just want your opinion on that.
I mean, so much of it is casting, and so much of it is the people. I think that David versus Goliath was probably the best of these that they had, because there was David versus Goliath in itself is a story. So you basically and heroes versus villains again is a story. So I don't know how many more things that you could find that are like that, where you sort of are putting people like in roles coming in, as opposed to just like generic categories of you're a hero, you're a healer, you're a hustler. Okay, sure, that's a category, but it's not a story.
Right. I actually do think what you're saying has some validity to it, with the 3 tribe things being not too great for the story, because all the except for Philippines, I think any season that started with 3 tribes, in my opinion, I think it's like Worlds Apart. There's heroes, hustlers. It's messy.
Yeah, and the good thing about the 3 tribes in Philippines, and one of the reasons why it was so compelling, was that you had one tribe that basically sort of just disintegrated, and so you were really left with 2 tribes. It was sort of like you got down to 2 tribes by sort of like natural selection, where the weakest tribe ended up just not making it far enough, and then Malcolm and Denise ended up being sort of like these 2 free agents who were then part of these 2 other tribes.
Right, which actually was, I feel like there's sometimes in Survivor where the producers are like, it's not a scripted show, but I feel like they're like
the Survivor gods.
Like, it could not have fallen better. The Survivor gods, exactly. Like I was thinking when I was watching the finale last season, like, oh my God, the producers must be like, their jaws must be on the floor at the final tribal, because the theme of the season, send people to an island, wait there for a chance to come back in, to play to win, and some guy's actually doing that.
Yeah.
Like in any other season that was anything similar, right back out the door, sliding like revolving door. The producers were, I'm just imagining the producer being like, oh my God, we did it.
Yeah.
I think they were going insane, especially that, like the edit, like no idea that was coming. I think that
it was a blindside, but I think that's a case of where unpredictability was, I guess, exciting in the moment, but in terms of like, wait, what just happened? That this was confusing. Whereas I think that Rick Devens winning the season, I think, would have been more of a interesting story in terms of, you watch the show, he went to that place, he came back, he went on to win it. And I think that, or maybe even if Joe had done the same exact thing that Chris Underwood did, and at least Joe, and it's like, wow, what a journey that Joe, he had to get voted out and then come back into the game. That the only for him to ultimately win, he did this.
But that requires Joe being that requires Joe to be strategy savvy, and unfortunately he's not. Then we heard an interview. I could hear myself. We heard in interviews with the cast, I could hear myself, that they wouldn't have voted for Joe if he got back in and got to the end.
So,
but I do think
go ahead.
I do think that the Rick Devens edit, like I saw on a meme on Instagram where, I'm gonna take one headphone out because I could hear myself echoing. All right, I saw in a meme that it was The Office, that Pam was holding 2 pictures and saying, you have to find the differences between these 2 pictures. And it was Ben and
Rick Devens.
Devens. And like, these are the same picture.
Yeah.
But I think that we see predictable edits, that we know, like the winners edits, so often that it makes last season more fun. I think I'm getting distracted because I can hear my voice.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the call, Aaron. Great stuff from Aaron. We got Kellyanne in Toronto on the fan line. Let's go ahead and bring Kellyanne in. Of course, thanks everybody who's been calling in on the fan line. We'll do like 1 or 2 more calls here today. Kellyanne,
hi,
how
Rob.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How's it going?
Oh, not bad. Sweater weather.
Yeah. Sweater weather. Okay. All right. How's everything going?
Good. I had a question about Jack, actually.
Yes. Okay.
Because I feel like everyone's been talking about Jamal and Molly and how Molly was voted out, and I want to know what you think about Jack's position now going forward.
Yeah. I just want to say, I think it's too bad that Jamal and Molly couldn't have gone further together as a pair, because I think that Jamali would have been like a great shipping name for
Solid.
Jamal and Molly. It would have been really fantastic. And Jack and Jamal, that we're not getting the same thing. Jack Mal,
Doesn't work.
it's a reach. Jamali, maybe.
That's
Maybe maybe if he gets voted out and then they sort of like, hit it off on the pre-jury trip, maybe, Jamali could still be a thing. Okay.
I'm rooting for them.
We're rooting for them. Okay. So your question, I'm sorry, I got so distracted with Jamali. Your question was about that. What do they do next?
Yeah. What does Jack do now? Because I feel like he's barely even been in the episodes. Like, I don't know anything about him.
He's barely been in the episode. It seems like that Jamal is more of the person who is seen as if one of them goes next, I do feel like it'll be Jamal. We saw more from him in terms of the episode where I thought he did come across as kind of smug about how everything was going down. Jack was with them, but at least in terms of the edit, he wasn't seen as being the person. He was more of the wingman, and I think that he has a lot more options in terms of like he could go back to Tommy, and we saw that relationship sort of get developed in the first episode. So I kind of feel like that Jack is going to be okay, at least for one more vote. And if one of them goes home next, it's going to be Jamal.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Tommy, side note. I feel like he surprised me a lot. I don't know why. I thought he was going to be like very bland, very vanilla yogurt.
Yeah, plain yogurt,
Yeah,
vanilla
plain
yogurt,
yogurt.
or plain yogurt? Because
Plain
there's a difference.
yogurt.
Yeah, because I have a friend who
favorite.
says vanilla yogurt is way too, decadent and sweet. You want just plain yogurt with no flavoring. So Tommy, I think it's interesting because one of the things that I noticed where he was like hesitant, he was like, I think this is the wrong move, but he went along with it. I wonder, like, just in terms of like, and I don't really like to explore like the edit and what does it mean, but for him to have cold feet and reservations, I think this is the wrong move and try to stop it. But then that's what happened. I think that's interesting. I'm very eager to see how that plays out for him.
Yeah, I wonder if he had a conversation with Jack beforehand and like they just didn't show it.
Yeah. Because Jack was one of the votes against I know 7-2-1, right? So he was a vote for Jason.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he must have talked with Jack about it. I think it was probably had to have been a blind side for Jack too.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So we'll see. Who's your winner pick? Who do you like? Tommy?
Well, in the draft, I have Missy.
Missy. Okay.
I always pick ladies.
That's good.
I want a girl to win.
Yeah. Well, I know it's been a minute.
I know.
I think this might be the season. Yeah,
the women on this season are pretty sick.
Yeah. I think if you were going to do the power rankings, I think that you'd probably have maybe in the top 10, maybe, 6 or 7 women as opposed to only a couple of the guys.
Yeah, Kelly with the hair idol was iconic.
Yeah, that was great. So it's been, I like this group. This has been a fun start to the season.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Kellyanne?
No, I watched The Fanatic and it was terrible.
Oh, you are a good podcast listener.
I work from home, so I need to fill my time.
Did you have to pay for it? I feel bad if you had to pay for it. Okay, good.
Akiva sent it to me.
Okay, so I couldn't believe that this was a real movie. Do you think that John Travolta thought he was going to win an Oscar?
I don't know. I was almost offended as someone who's like worked with people with autism.
Yeah,
I think that's what he was going for, but it is very awkward.
I don't know. I don't think that Fred Durst has spent a lot of time with anybody with special needs. Maybe he has. I have no idea. But yeah, that's all right. That's coming up later today.
Have fun with it.
Thank you for listening, Kellyanne. Okay. All right. Let's do one more call. Noah in Ontario. Oh boy. We're really covering all of our bases. We're getting multiple Noahs, a ton of people in Ontario. It's all happening here today. as Noah in Ontario. Noah, how are you?
Hey, I'm great, Rob. How are you? It's great to speak to
Doing
you,
very
man.
good. Yeah, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Just chilling out.
Okay, but I hear it's sweater weather.
Yeah, it's been really chilly lately. We've been raining like crazy out here. So,
Okay, cool. What do you want to talk about, Noah?
I was curious, what your thoughts are on the Women's Alliance on Lyra? Do you think it's gonna last? Because it seems like they're in a good spot, but they
Yeah.
always fracture at some point.
Yeah, it seems like they're in a good spot. I mean, I think that it's going to come down to Elaine. I feel like if they can stick together, because you have Aaron, who seems like he's off on his own, and then you have Tom and Vince, who seem like they're tight with Elaine. And I think that for Elaine, I think she has to make a call. Like, is my real alliance going to be Tom and Vince, or is my real alliance going to be the women's thing that's over there? I'm trying to think of who the other guy is on that tribe.
Dean?
Oh, Dean. Oh, yeah.
Purple Dean?
So, yeah. So I kind of feel like that she should look at the numbers and say, boy, the women, I think that might be the way to go, as opposed to, as long as she can sort of keep Tom and Dean. Oh, I'm sorry, Tom and Vince protected. You know, Kim Spradlin had a similar thing in One World, where she sort of like, she had a thing with like Troy Zan and Jay Byers, and then she also had a thing with the women, and she was like, coming into the merge, is like, okay, well, let me feel this out. And I think she thought that she had a better chance to go far with the Troy Zan and Jay Byers thing. I think she would have gone that way, but that she felt like, okay, I have a much better chance to win to go with the women thing. So Elaine, that who would have thought that we'd be comparing Elaine and Kim Spradlin?
Yeah, exactly. Well, does Elaine, do you think, is she more loyalty based maybe, do you think? And she'll stick with the women just because it's the Women's Alliance?
It's hard to tell. I think Elaine is sharper than we give her credit for. So I think that we'll see, you know, which way she's going to go. I do think she's loyal, though. I think that, you know, unless she got like real close to the money, I don't know if she's going to like backstab people. But, you know, it's going to be fun to see exactly, you know, what these people are made of as we get further into the season.
Yeah, I guess I just don't know if she would be the first one to turn on the Alliance, or if the rest of them would band together and say, hey, let's get Elaine out of here because she's way too close with Vince and Tom.
Right. Like, who would be the first woman that's out of the group? I don't know. We have to, I'm wondering maybe if it would be Elizabeth, that she seems that she's maybe a little bit more out of the loop, but it's so hard to tell.
Seems a little bit wishy-washy.
Yeah, based on what we've gotten to see. That I just found where there were secret scenes. I couldn't find them, and then I was shown that they're on the CBS app. You can access some secret scenes. So I'm gonna watch those before I do my next podcast. See if I can get some more info.
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw one last night. I was watching Missy was having a wrestling match against Elaine.
Missy's my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm totally team Missy.
Yeah,
so
they had
anything that she does to build relationships, I'm there for.
And she's been really good too. I liked her in the preseason, but I think that she's been playing better than I even expected coming in.
Even this last episode, where not a lot of them got screen time, Missy was shown sort of trying to build relationships with Aaron after kind of screwing him over. She won the challenge for the group. So it seems like she's in a really good spot.
Yeah.
In that tribe.
And she was saying in the wrestling video how she just wants to pick people up and throw them.
Oh.
So,
well, that doesn't seem so good, actually.
It's not.
So maybe I should drop her, but
yeah, it's not ideal. But as long as she's like, you know, working out the whatever is you know, the anger or rage, she's like getting it out of her system in fake wrestling matches. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah, I think yes.
I've got in the chat. This is from DH. I think Kelly would be a great winner. The scene where she broke down was great. What do you think of Kelly so far?
I actually was very surprised by Kelly in the last episode, using her emotions in that positive way, because all of those I think were real emotions, but being able to spin it in a way where she's able to use it to her advantage to get all of that suspicion off of her. I thought that was really, really smart.
Yeah.
I still think that lying as heavily about the island as they are, saying that there's a game.
Yeah, I think their hands are tied. I'm
still not on board with that at all.
Yeah, I think that they must not be allowed to stay, and I think if anybody busts her, I think then she could, because we weren't allowed to say. We weren't allowed to say.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to tell you guys. They told me not. I wasn't allowed to say anything.
I don't know. I would tell them. I would be like, dude, it's Rob and Sandra. I'd be like totally telling them everything except for like idols and stuff. So I don't know how I feel about all the lies, but I think the way Kelly played it, I thought was really, really smart.
Yeah, she seems like she's a lot of fun. YOLO. That's what you said.
I don't know if that's the most fun thing she did, but
yeah. All right. Noah, anything else?
Not a whole lot. It's been great to speak to you. I'm a big fan. So
cool. Well,
awesome.
Thank you for listening, and thanks for calling in today.
Anytime, man.
Okay. All right. So I think that that's probably it. Let me know if there's anybody else that's on the fan line. If we got somebody on hold, I'll take them. But otherwise, we'll start to wrap it up. Okay. Thanks everybody who joined us live. We had a couple hundred people watching us live on YouTube today, and we'll get this out as a podcast also for anybody who missed it, so that they know what it's like to jump in and do this with us next time we're here on Fan Cred. Hey, if you like this sort of thing, we'll do more of this, but we also do it on the regular over on our Facebook Fridays in our patron Facebook group. I've got that coming up later on today. So if you are interested in more about that, you can check out what we have going on over at robhasawebsite.com/patron. I had to go to the post office today because we're sending out all of these RHAP pop sockets. Bought more stamps today than I ever thought I would be buying in my entire life at the post office today, working on sending all those pop sockets out to the patrons as well this week. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Check out the podcast with Bradley, get your feedback questions in for Shannon, and then I will see you soon. Thanks everybody over at Fan Cred for making this happen. Take care everybody. Have a good one. Bye.